This episode of Ultraman Omega is fantastic. It's definitely the best Ultraman Omega episode so far. I bet it will be the best or in the top three of the entire series of Omega. And it's definitely one of those transcendent episodes that goes beyond Ultraman and goes into just great television, great storytelling. It was much more mythic than science fiction. Yeah, it's much more mythic than science fiction, and it reminds me of some discourse I've seen online from a certain person I follow on Twitter or X, whatever. Anyway, I'll probably talk about his discourse. I should actually credit him and see who it is I'm talking about before I just go ahead and blab on about this. So hold on just a moment. Here he is. I found the man. It's Ultra Kiel. Ultra Kiel, there we go. So it says, his bio says, I'm a tokusatsu fan and I love Godzilla and the Heisei TGG era Ultraman. My hobbies include model building, and miniatures. I communicate between Japanese and Western tokusatsu fans. You can see there's me looking at what a crazy face I'm making. Anyway, so yeah, he's a lot of fun. He says some interesting stuff about Ultraman, and I find it interesting, which is why I talk about it. I've asked him questions. I find it interesting. Like, I'm not saying because he's Japanese I need to take his opinion as gospel. Of course not. It's just it's interesting to see a Japanese fan, an older fan, who's into. Well, I'll let you. I mean, he said what he's into in his bio. So, just he said something about kaiju being gods and like Godzilla being, or Gojira, whatever, being like a god, and that's the kind of story a kaiju story is. Kaiju are not giant animals, and I like Ultraman a lot, but I have an interesting relationship with kaiju. The concept of kaiju, which I got introduced to in a bigger way by Concrete Revolution, the anime, which you might think sounds ridiculous, but I don't think it sounds ridiculous. It's fairly reasonable, and we'll talk about why as we go on. It's something I'll touch on at some point, but I want to talk about the episode overall. There is this, like I said, so the kaiju ends up being Ohebinushi, the serpent deity beast, and he's named after, actually, so I think it's Ohebinushi no Mikoto or no Miko. This girl here is, hold on, I'll show you her. Here we go. Huh. Why am I not? Okay. So here we go. This girl is Miko, and this kaiju she named Mikoto, but then his name is transformed to something else. He starts off as a little guy that can fit in the palm of her hand, and you see throughout the episode that he's pulling energy from her here. And it's interesting because she lost her mother, and she's mourning, and she's living with her aunt now, and her aunt is a farmer lady who's out in the sticks, and she's trying to take care of her, but it's hard because she's a teenage girl. She lost her mother. She's very sad about that, and I just found it interesting that Sorato is introduced to the word tomodachi, friend, and also they speak about family. So there's family and friend, and like friends can be family and family can be friends, so to speak. And like there's a lot going on with his learning, and I've kind of forgotten about this aspect of Omega, that he's an alien. Sorato's an alien learning to be human or learning to fit in a human world, and he also has these dealings with kaiju. So this is like a very interesting episode because it's not some big spectacle. The fight is cool, but it's not like, this bad kaiju is doing these things. It's this girl is sad, and she finds joy and comfort in this little animal. And I was thinking about it. She lost her mother, then she goes to live with her aunt, and her aunt has this kaiju on Earth for some reason, and it's a tiny thing that she finds out in the woods, out in the sticks, literally. And by the way, what's with this jacket? Isn't she wearing the jacket that the guy from Build wore? I'm pretty sure that's the exact jacket, and I think they even put Kentaro Kisaragi in that at some point, which is weird the way they seem to share props among Toei Kamen Rider stuff, but then also Super Eye gets in on the action. I'm pretty sure that's the exact jacket that Banjo was wearing. Anyway, just a little tangent. But anyway, so she's hurt and she's lonely and she's sad and she's depressed basically. But then she finds this little guy and she starts taking care of him. And as she's nurturing him and investing in him, he's growing. And she sees that, and he's kind of like this pet / friend that she has this relationship with. And the story, there's like a shrine or a marker of some sort. I don't understand the full significance of it because I'm not Japanese, didn't grow up in the Japanese country, haven't studied or researched it. And she says that there's a legend that there was a snake god who fell in love with a woman, and I don't remember what she said beyond that or what happened. And I didn't go back to the episode because I'm pressed for time. So anyway, it's very interesting. She has affection for this snake, and she's giving him life. He's siphoning energy from her. She's becoming anemic, actually. So it seems like the energy, the life energy that he's getting from her is actually like, literal life energy. So he eats metal, but then he also seems to get nourishment from the iron in her blood. And, her aunt is concerned for her reasonably. And it's just interesting that she lost her mother, then she becomes like this surrogate mother to this snake thing. I don't know if they didn't just cast an older woman and have it be a reflection of the woman in love with the snake god story for, like, I'm not sure why they didn't just do that, because that seems like the most logical thing to do. But I mean, this is sweet and innocent, but also dangerous because she wants to be with Miko. She named after herself, which is kind of funny. And she wants to be with him and like leaves home, even though she knows it's having this negative effect on her. She has these silver streaks in her hair, which you can kind of see here. Let me see if I can find a better picture of it. Oh, and then here you can see it much better. And I noticed that about her like right off when we first saw her, and I thought, because it was conspicuously placed on purpose. It's a visual medium, and they're trying to tell the story in the best way possible. So there's something going on. But I thought she was withdrawn, so I thought, oh, she's just like a rebellious teenager kind of deal. Doesn't like being out in the country, whatever. She longs for something, and that's going to be related to the kaiju of the episode. So that's not exactly how it went. This silver streak in her hair is a sign that I think some of her life, some of her vitality, her youth is being sapped by this creature. And the creature even does it to her aunt, which I didn't grab a picture of. But yeah, it's really interesting that, and like, look at this look on her face. She looks like she's so happy to be doing this, to be giving this life energy to this kaiju. And this is a world that's new to kaiju. Or that kaiju are new to. How do you phrase that? I don't know. But she's saying like, oh, you think this is one of those kaiju things? And she obviously wants to protect him and care for him and nurture him and love him in a pet way or in a friend way, not in a lover's kind of way. That doesn't seem to be the implication. But I don't know, there's like something deep going on here. Like, is he a replacement for her mother? Is he like her son? Is he like a lover who would comfort somebody after a tragic passing like that? I don't really know. And I'm not really sure what they were going for. Who's the they I'm speaking of? The they are the author, or the writer, and the director of this. So the writer is Masaya Honda, sorry, and the director is Tomonobu Koshi. So I grabbed their information to talk about them because I thought it would be relevant. So let me see, which one do I have first? This goes, okay, so let's talk about the director first. Yeah, let's talk about the director first. Well, no, I want to talk about the writer first because I thought the writing in this was really interesting. Let's see, that's trivia. Okay, so here we go. Masaya Honda is a Japanese screenwriter known for his work on anime series. He has served as a writer for Ultraman during the New Generation era. He worked on Arc. He wrote Message, You Are Givas, and The Man in the White Mask. I love Givas. From Arc. He's fantastic. Message is related. It's the first part of the Givas story, and it was really good, really affecting, and gave me a lot of affection for this strange creature from another world. Interesting. Kind of a theme there. And then The Man in the White Mask is about somebody who wanted to end suffering, I think. And this episode touches on suffering and grief. Yeah, this episode, Miko and Mikoto. So let me see what else we have about here. Okay, so that's all that there is said about the writer. So Message, You Are Givas, and The Man in the White Mask, those are important. Those are from Arc. Those were great episodes. I love them. Absolutely. And this episode I also have a lot of affection for. Let's move on and talk about the director. So the director is Tomonobu Koshi. He's a Japanese director. Koshi's first role in the Ultraman series was an assistant director in Ultraman Max in 2005. He continued to work as an assistant director in subsequent entries. And began directing episodes from Ultraman Taiga in 2019, becoming a well-known Ultra Series director in the 2020s while continuing to be an assistant director. How interesting. He worked on Ultraman Max, Ultraman Mebius, Ultraman Saga, Ultra Zero Fight. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. Specifically, also he worked on Ultraman Arc. What's important here, the full one's answer was interesting. Internet Kennegon was just okay. The Light of Fear I liked. Demon Slicing Meteor Sword I really liked. The Man in the White Mask, very impressive episode, which the writer also worked on, so they worked on those together. And then he's done 4, 5, and 6. I haven't seen 6 yet, but episode 4 had great action in it with Punk Omega, which was super fun to see. And then look at other works. Kamen Rider Kiva, assistant director. Okay, this guy's great. He's wonderful. I love him. He was one of my favorite Kamen Riders. Don't tell Toei. Anyway, so that's really interesting. That's who these guys are. That's some of the stuff that they've worked on. And I don't necessarily know why the episode hit me as hard as it did. Like, it's about loss, it's about grieving, it's about trying to find your way. But also, Sorato has this aspect of the episode where he kills this kaiju because he has to, but he doesn't want to, because he's killing this girl's friend, and he's killing somebody who could be her family, you could say. And like, if she is grieving her mother and this is like a replacement for her mother, he's in effect killing her. But also, what's interesting and what's so deep and painful, like, look at this, look at the performance. I'm sorry I don't know the actor's name, but like, this is great sadness. And I love the contrast that Kosei has no idea what's going on. He thinks, oh yeah, we just killed a kaiju, it was bad, we need to kill kaiju because they're bad, and it was going to destroy the town. Like, he's super happy right now, and Sorato's over here kind of suffering and bearing the weight of having to have killed this thing. But also, it wanted to die. Like, I'm pretty sure that this kaiju committed suicide by Ultraman because I don't know. Like, look at this fit. Hold on, let me see. So this is it after she's collapsed, after Mikoto has collapsed, Miko or whatever. He's trying to like take care of her, and he's there kind of surrounding her, protecting her. Maybe, even though he's draining life from her, which I don't understand what that means. Like, their love is unsustainable because he's a monster, he's a god, he's from this other world. They're not meant to be together, whether that's as lovers or as, just friends or whatever. And it's killing her to love him and to be with him. It's strange. Like, that's what's happening. I don't know why. I don't know the mechanics of that. I don't know how that works in with human society or real life, but that's what's going on here. And then, he fights Ultraman because Ultraman shows up, and that's what you got to do. And Reckiness comes and attacks him. And while he's fighting Reckiness, Omega's just standing off. Sorato doesn't really know what to do. But he sees the destruction, he sees the conflict, the fight going on, which is a great shot too. And like the music drops out, and you just get to hear, or it drops out, it's muted. The sound definitely like limits itself or is subdued. And you get to see this concentration on Omega in this interesting scene where it's like, I'm going to call him Mikoto, like looks at him, and then he like charges him, and I'm pretty sure that this kaiju is crying. And there's something about the performance of it, the hand performance of this puppet, essentially. There's something about it that was like really nice and warm. Like, in some places it looked a little cheesy. Like when it was trying to slither, it looked fake, it looked cheap, whatever. Not cheap necessarily, but just it didn't come off as well as it could have. But these composite shots where it's gigantic work great. Especially like here. I thought this was wonderful. It's great compositing work. They look like they're in the scene together, and it just really works. Also, like this little cue, going back to the effects of they gave some fake shedded skin to show that it's growing, is a wonderful effect. Like, that's so brilliant. It's so cheap. Not cheap like as in poor quality, but like it's such an effective way to use your money to build this thing, which they probably cast off of molds for this thing or for the bigger suit. And I don't know, maybe they expanded it and then cast it. Doesn't matter, but they did it in such a cool, effective way. There's like, this really works to sell this effect that this thing has grown. This snake dragon thing with his hair tufts in his ear and his little horns has grown. And now he's this kaiju. He's this monstrous size, and he can't be left alone. He can't be left to persist. He can't be left to live, because if he does, his life will destroy the lives of others, including the life of the one he loves. So therefore, he attacks Ultraman, and despite the fact that he's fighting Reckiness, I guess he knew Reckiness was a scrub, so he charges at Omega, and Omega just slowly pulls his slugger off, and he runs past him and slashes him, and he kills him, and he turns into a bunch of cherry blossom leaves. And I think the cherry blossom is supposed to be associated with death. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's something I remember hearing at some point. I believe the Japanese word for it is sakura, and I believe skull is like very close. Like Skullman, I looked it up because I'm into Ishinomori Skullman, and I'm pretty, it's like sakura, man, or whatever. So like it's very close, if it's not the exact same word. And it's interesting that like he represents death, sort of. When I say he, I mean Mr. Ohebinushi represents death in this way. And like, I don't know, it's interesting because like Concrete Revolution told me that kaiju are like pure rage, and kaiju are just like these things that want to destroy humans, but they also represent like the monstrosity of human beings. And I don't know, Concrete Revolution is a complicated show. Like, I like it a lot, but there's also things that I don't like. And it's not aesthetics. It's like, I don't know, like I'm not sure I like what it's saying. I'm not sure I know what it's saying, but what I think it's saying, I don't think I like. except for I do. So, like I said, I have a complicated relationship with that show, and I don't know what Omega is saying about kaiju right now, and I don't know what it's saying about grief or loss. Like, just to slow down, Mikoto is grieving over her mother. Then she finds this friend who she can take care of, and it gives her life to invest herself in caring for this other being and in taking care of him and in loving him and nurturing him. However, he keeps growing and he gets too big and he's becoming a drain on her. So, but she wants to stay with him and she follows him. And what she does, it continues to drain her life and it continues to put her in danger. And his solution is to go away where she cannot follow him. She goes away, or he goes away and gets himself killed by Omega so that she can be free of him. And then after, supposedly, or assumedly, she mourns over his loss. She is able to connect with her aunt, who she wasn't able to connect with before, and see her aunt as a loving family member, somebody more than a friend. And it's like, is it about letting go of grief and loss and letting yourself move on to the next part of your life, not being held back by grief? I don't really know. And if kaiju are not just big animals, which she treats him like a big animal, eventually, if they're gods, then like, was this God's purpose to die so that he could teach her how to live? I don't know if that was the intent. I don't know if that was the meaning. But something about this episode, something about this story is stirring to me, and it's beautiful, and I really like it and appreciate it, even if I don't really know what it is. And I find that interesting and very paradoxical that I don't really understand what it is, but I still like it. I guess I don't understand my wife, but I like her, so maybe there's a precedent for that in life. I just find it really fascinating. I'm wondering what you think about it. I'm a writer. I want to know how to capture this. Like, do the writers know? Do the directors know exactly what they're doing? They have a plan for this and they're executing it well, or they're like just throwing things out there and it works with who it works with and it works with who, or it doesn't work with who doesn't work. Like, I don't know the reception of this episode. Do people like it generally? Because I think it's a great episode I think it's a great story, period. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I wonder what you think about it. I'd love to hear your feedback, your thoughts on the show, the episode itself, and also on my analysis of it. Did I hit on something good? Am I like on the edge of it? Like, had I known something, I would have been able to say it better. I'd love to know. I'd love to have that knowledge gap filled. I'd love to have a conversation about it. So please leave a comment here. Let's discuss it. And I'm going to be back on, this is my triumphal return to covering Ultraman again. I had to take a little break. I had a bunch of personal stuff happen, but I'm good now. Things are great. Things are moving forward, and I'm hoping to catch up with Omega while I'm also covering Kamen Zets and other things, while also doing more writing. I'm working on another book, and I have a book out right now called Mocking Mayhem. There's a trailer for it here. It's about magical bugs battling monsters, and you might like it if you like to watch this magical dude, or whatever, science fiction giant dude battle monsters as well. So anyway, that's it for now, folks. Until next time, take care. Magical bugs battle monsters in this exciting fantasy adventure. Gremlings prey upon children. Growbugs protect them. When a gremling finds a hidden growbug fort, the whole flock makes a surprise attack. How will the growbugs survive? Find out in Mocking Mayhem. Learn more at growbugs.com, where you can find out more about our mailing list, receive behind-the-scenes information, and get all the latest news on the growbugs.